and More Spirit takes over coming past the wire. It will be More Spirit to win the Los Alamitos Futurity by a length and a half.
This is just an unbelievable day for Bob Baffert and Mike Smith. They are unstoppable. More Spirit has dominated the Met Mile. He won it by 7 lengths.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Spa Babies, presented by Spendthirft. I'm Dan Illman, along with Nicole Russo, and let's throw up our Spa Baby race for Saturday. It's Jockey Club Gold Cup Saturday at Saratoga, and we kick off the $1 pick six with race number 7. We're going 7/8 of a mile for 2-year-olds. And Nicole, we've got some lovely pedigrees in here. Spendthrift Stallions, Lord Nelson and Into Mischief, represented by the 1 Trafalgar and the 4 Misbehaved, respectively. But you've got the number 8 Galt, who is kin to a pretty nice horse.
Absolutely. The full brother to Songbird kind of at the top of the pedigrees in this race. We have some serious stallion power in this race. You mentioned Spendthrift's rating leading sire Into Mischief. You've got the late leading sire Giants Causeway. You have Gun Runner, who's the current leader of his freshman class. You have American Pharaoh, who made such a wonderful start to his stud career. Really just a powerhouse group here from a pedigree standpoint.
And the lone also eligible in the race, the 11 Cloud Play, also by Spendthrift's Into Mischief. Let's start things off down on the rail with the number 1 Trafalgar by Spendthrift Stallion Lord Nelson, just getting started with his career. He has a debut winner. This horse sold for $310,000 in April after breezing a furlong in 10 and change. There's some speed in this pedigree.
Absolutely. The dam a half to a 2-year-old stakes winning dirt sprinter, the dam a half to a couple of other black type horses. And Lord Nelson, really a multiple grade 1 winning sprinter who really overcame a lot as Spendthrift nursed him through a bout of laminitis to get him to stud. These now his first 2-year-olds. He's got just 1 winner to date, but Lord Nelson was better at 3 and even better at 4 when he posted those multiple grade 1 wins. People sometimes correlate sprint ability with precocity, and that's just not always the case. I think ultimately Lord Nelson, by Sire of Sires pulpit, will be a fine sire, but his offspring so far seem to need a race or 2 to get going.
Bullet workout last Saturday for trainer Al Stahl. Johnny Velasquez takes the mount. The 2 is Classic Causeway. This is a son of Giants Causeway out of a Thunder Gulch mare. The dam was a multiple stakes winning dirt sprinter at 2. She was quick. She was early. She won her career debut. She has foaled 4 winners. And the second dam, she won 21 races. Interesting work tab for this Brian Lynch trainee. A couple of 6 furlong workouts leading up to the debut.
Yeah, I like that, to put a little bit of foundation into a horse. This one might be a little bit of a sneaky value play. Check out the Clocker reports produced by our colleague Mike Welsh and his team for this card. They'll be available on drf.com on Friday evening. Gosh, you mentioned the dam and the second dam of Classic Causeway. Just a racehorse family. I love seeing horses like that where the second dam won 21 races and earned $250,000 seemingly the hard way. And this is the last crop for Giants Causeway, a 3-time leading sire and the sire of 2-year-old champions worldwide, including Take Charge Brandy.
7/8 of a mile might be a bit intimidating for these first-time starters, so a horse with experience might have an advantage. And here's the number 3 10 Gauges debut at Monmouth Park on July the 18th. Good effort. Showed some speed from the start over this muddy track. Finishes a solid second. Steve Asmussen historically does very well with second-time starting 2-year-olds, and I would expect this gun runner colt from the family of Kentucky Derby winner Monarchos to show good speed again.
Absolutely. I think you really nailed my assessment of this horse. A good runner-up effort at 5.5 furlongs should serve him well moving forward to 7 furlongs, which they're not going 2 turns yet, but this is kind of a salty distance for these young horses to debut at. Gunrunner, currently the leading freshman sire of his class. Steve Asmussen, who trained Gunrunner to that 2017 Horse of the Year title, has handled several of his best offspring so far. And as you would expect, he knows how to handle them.
And this $185,000 yearling buyback is a half-brother to a couple of black-type earners at 2. The 4 is Misbehaved by Spendthrift Stallion Into Mischief. This is the full brother to a multiple stakes winning turf sprinter, a pretty nice runner, Into Mystic. This horse has gone through the auction ring 3 times, Nicole. $600,000 buyback as a yearling, $750,000 buyback in March, and then sold for $875,000 in April after breezing a furlong in 10 flat. This Todd Pletcher trainee, it would be no surprise if he's ready first out.
Absolutely not. And Into Mischief really started to make his name as a leading 2-year-old sire. He was on the top of those charts for Spendthrift. And then in recent years, he's been getting just better and better mares off that early success. And he's climbed the ranks to where he's now the leading general sire 2 years running. His horses do a little bit of everything: short, long, turf, dirt, as you can see by this one's full sibling, Into Mystic, who does their best work on the turf. This one going to run on the dirt, the flashy price tag, because you cannot go wrong with an Into Mischief 2-year-old. You can hardly go wrong with Todd Pletcher with a Saratoga 2-year-old. And it seems you cannot go wrong with Luis Saez this summer.
I was just going to say, leading rider Saez takes the mount for Pletcher. The 5 is Olympian. This is a gray son of Triple Crown winner and Breeders' Cup Classic winner American Pharaoh, and a half-brother to Alpha Kitten, who was a Grade 2 stakes winner sprinting on synthetic and was a juvenile debut winner. A $240,000 buyback as a yearling out of a full sister to Marleybone, a debut winner at 2 that went on to win a Grade 1 stake that year going a mile.
Yeah, and that Grade 1 matron was going the 1-turn mile at Belmont, where you need a horse with some speed. So I think some speed on the bottom of this pedigree underneath American Pharaoh, a champion 2-year-old himself, the leading freshman sire of 2019, and the leading second crop sire of last year, 2020.
The 6 Jerkovich should benefit from his career debut. He's a son of the win early stallion Violence, an $88,000 yearling out of a half-sister to Unified, who was a Grade 2 stakes winning router, but was also very fast, probably best at this 7/8 of a mile distance. This horse showed a little bit of speed in his debut for a barn not known winning first time out. I think he'll be tighter for this at a price.
I think he'll absolutely improve second time out for the Albertrani barn, as you mentioned. There is some sprint ability in the female side of the family. I'm glad that you mentioned that Unified was a very fast horse, because he's currently a first crop stallion and imparting that to his offspring with some stakes performing 2-year-olds in his first crop this year. So I think definitely precocity in the family.
The 7 Atlantic Dancer is another colt by American Pharaoh. Nice to see trainer Nick Zito with the 2-year-old at the spawn. This horse has some pedigree. Not only is he by American Pharaoh, he's a half-brother to Tampa Bay Derby winner King Guillermo, and he sold for $400,000 as a yearling. Now, the dam is a half to a couple of Grade 3 winners. One of them, Funny Duck, won the Pat Day Mile. So an interesting pedigree, to be sure, for a barn that sometimes needs a race or two to get him cranked.
Yeah, absolutely. With the barn, it is a classic type barn. And I thought an interesting mixture in this pedigree. American Pharaoh, as we've seen, can get them on both turf and dirt. You mentioned that this one is a half to the dirt router King Guillermo, also a half to a stakes place turf sprinter in Dorothy B. So I'll really be interested to see what this horse wants to do down the road.
All eyes are going to be on the number 8 Galt when these 2-year-olds walk into the paddock at Saratoga on Saturday. This is the full brother to Songbird, multiple Grade 1 winner, champion, juvenile debut winner by Medaglia d'Oro, who gets 14% winners with juvenile debut runners. This $400,000 weanling's out of a dam that was a Grade 2 stakes winner. Plenty of pedigree. Bill Mott sends him out with Joel Rosario aboard.
Yeah, and Songbird, of course, was a 2-year-old champion, but looking at the connections of this one, Bill Mott usually gives his horses a little bit of time, and owner Larry Best really is in this for the long haul, beginning to get into developing and supporting stallions, building a broodmare band. I'm sure these connections would be okay if this horse came with a nice run and took a start or two to really be at his best. And some comments from Bill Mott to the NYRA press office this week seem to support that a little bit. He told NYRA today, he's still a big gangly colt, but we have enough work into him and he's improved enough that we think we can get a start in him.
Saratoga Stable and Barclay Tag, the owners and trainers of Derby winner Funny Side and Tis the Law, Belmont Stakes winner. Send out a nice 2-year-old. Tis Eternal is a son of Tis Now. He's a half-brother to a couple of good sprinters, though. Bye Bye Bernie, fast on turf. Joe Franklin, fast on dirt. Also a half to a juvenile debut winner named Little Dipper. This horse sold for $300,000 as a yearling.
Yeah, New York bred in against Open Company, Barclay Tag and Saratoga Stable know a bit about that. This horse looks to have a nice, steady work tab locally at Saratoga. Tis Now did break out in his first crop with a 2-year-old filly champion and Folklore. So while he's more considered a source of classic type stamina, he can get a quick 2-year-old.
And again, as we always say, Nicole has already mentioned, keep an eye on the Mike Welsh clock report. It looks like that this colt's frequent workmate, a horse named Money Merger, made his debut at Saratoga on Thursday. Completing the body of the field's the 10 Brigadier General. If you like experienced horses, well, this one's the most experienced. He started twice. He was a good second in a fast maiden special way to Churchill Downs to kick off his career. He's raced once this meet, Nicole. He showed very good speed from the inside post. He dueled with Stellar Tap, and Stellar Tap, of course, made history for Steve Asmussen that day.
Yeah, and I think there were some nice horses in that maiden. You mentioned the start before he came out of Churchill Downs. The Churchill 2-year-olds have run pretty well at Saratoga this meet. This is a terrific family that this horse is from. The third dam is Grade 1 winner Indy 500. She's a half to Delta Princess, the dam of Royal Delta, and additional Grade 1 winners Delta Prince and Crown Queen. Also the family of Biandetti, who was a Group 1 winner in Italy as a 2-year-old. This one, I would like to watch the forecast with a little bit. You hear that the dam one's sprinting in the mud, and Street Sense is an outstanding off-track sire. If, the forecast from Saturday, 2 days out from when we're filming this, turns up a little wet.
And we had rain earlier in the week off the turf at Saratoga on Thursday. Top pick time to kick off the $1 pick 6. We like experienced horses, especially as the distances get longer this time of year in a field full of first-time starters. You're going with the 310 gauge. Steve Asmussen having a sensational meeting, and this horse ran really well first time out at Monmouth.
Yeah, he ran very well at Monmouth, and I think he's definitely eligible to take a step forward with that experience, going from 5.5 to 7 furlongs. The gun runners, it really seems like they're eating up the extra distance, this leading freshman sire, as we come into the fall races. Steve Asmussen often improves them second time out. So I do think that this horse will benefit from the experience, although it was a tough call for me between he and the Into Mischief sired runner Misbehaved, who looks like he has a nice gate work for Todd Fletcher and is ready to fire. And as I said, Galt, I think the full brother to Songbird, I think they would be very happy if he just, checked in, came with a nice run, hit the board, and improved next time out.
I'm hoping the 2 starts gives the 10 Brigadier General the requisite bottom to last this 7/8 of a mile. And I do like the fact that he showed improved early speed in his second lifetime start. I think he'll be a playable price. Somewhat intrigued by those 6 furlong workouts with classic Causeway. The 10 gauge might very well be the horse to beat off that promising debut. Misbehaved, very well bred. 3, 4, 10, 8 for Nicole, 10, 2, 3, 1 for me. It's Spa Babies on Jockey Club Gold Cup Saturday at Saratoga. Our coverage all meet long, presented by Spendthrift.